All right, number 4, legislation establishes state policy. Please tell us what you see as the future role of public education in our state, and in what ways have you been of service to public education prior to your becoming a candidate in this election?
This was perfect, a perfect follow-up. I love it. So, yes, advocacy work is vital, especially for our public education. I think that everyone in this room, we all know that the state leadership, if I can use that word, they have a goal, and their goal is to get rid of public education. Every time they possibly can, they take money from us, and they limit the access to resources, and they increase these voucher programs, and in fact, there's a lot of under-the-table money filtering back to campaigns. So we need to get in the Capitol. We need to talk to these people. We need to have Capitol days. We need to organize, and we need to be louder than they are, because, you know, their money is what makes them get these favors. But we can do more. We can establish a strong relationship with the people that can actually change this. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, legislation does establish state policy, but I don't think that means that we just have to lay down and say, okay, if it's not in the best interest of our kids and the communities and teachers that support our kids. I think with COVID, we saw a lot around how the state government, specifically the governor and the attorney general, stepped in the way of pretty much any sort of forward-thinking approach to addressing a major pandemic that killed 1 million people, or nearly, maybe more now. So I think that, you know, public education needs to be doing a better job of informing the state government of what it needs to be more successful, and not just in historical ways or, you know, the antiquated ways that we've seen in the past. We need to push for more. We need to be standing up to the state when it does something that we don't believe in and that we don't think is in our best interest. Regardless of who it embarrasses, who it puts in conflict, it doesn't quite matter what that is. But we need to be doing a better job of pushing back against the state government when it comes to them telling us to do things a certain way. We, as a collective here, know what's best for our kids in our community, not the state government. I can say that with 100% certainty. What have I done in public education? I've been a tutor before for kids, after-school tutor. I think for three years, and then I've been working with recently graduated high school kids, and I hired them at my consulting company, and so I've worked with quite a few kids who just graduated college, and you know, seeing the position that they've been in, I feel like we could do a much better job of preparing our kids to get through high school, get through college, and to be a contributing member of the working world at the best times. Thank you.
Okay, I love this one. Well, I'm loving all the questions. I can talk all night long about this. Advocating is like one of my favorite things that I love to talk about and do. Because again, we can talk about what we will do, what can be done, but what have you done? And actions speak louder than words, and I have done it. I have rallied, I have organized, I have lobbied our legislators, I have written, I have gone to their offices to advocate for public education. Again, it takes action, not just some vague thoughts. As a board, we have set legislative priorities. For the first time ever, as a board, we did it. As a district, under the leadership of Dr. Wright, we set those legislative priorities We educated our community. It is so important that you empower your community with that information and let them know how they can be an advocate for their own children, for our children, our community. And of course, now I work to educate boards and districts, and we have over 1,000 districts out there across the state to work on the grassroots levels, to make that change, to make public education equitable and accessible to all students.
Kind of hard to follow. So to answer the second part of this question, you know, I've been in service to public education since my kid's first. I walked my son his first day in the kindergarten at Butte Elementary. From that day, ever since my kid going through elementary school, middle schools, I mean, I've been serving whatever my kids have been into the school, I've been into it. We've been supporting the schools from that standpoint. I do know that the state legislature sets a lot of policy for boards to follow. I know this board's done a good job with the past year, you know, setting that legislation into motion. However, you know, I'm excited to be a part of this process. I think down the road, once I get on this board, start getting my hands in understanding all that has to do with being a board member, I'm kind of excited about the opportunity that Mr. Roscoe has had with going to the state legislature, speaking on behalf of what we've done at the district, how we've gotten our scores better than anywhere else in the district. I want our board, I want our district to become what the state legislature comes to and says, hey, look what Hays CASD is doing, and they're going to come start asking us to help them with some of the problems. Now look, I mean, it's not going to be easy. I mean, it's a long process. It's going to take a lot of education on my part, but I'm excited to be a part of it, and I really think that that over the years I'm going to be able to stand in front of that legislature and help advocate for our district and for some policies that we think is important for Hays CASD and all districts across the country. So, thank you.
There.